till you get played.
Welcome back to It's Culture Podcast. My name is Mark, and I'm the host of It's Culture Podcast. And tonight, we got a new update from the case out in Texas with the stabbing at the track meet. So, we got that going on. And then we got some other stuff going on as well. Trump's tariffs. We're gonna talk about Trump's tariffs tonight, and then we're gonna talk about the last thing, which is the measles outbreak. We got a serious outbreak of measles going on across the country right now, and is affecting those who are unvaccinated. So we're gonna talk about that. So sit back, relax, and if you could do me a favor, hit the like button, hit that share button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can get all updates when I go live. And as I am live right now, we have went over 13,200 subscribers. So I thank all of you. Thank you. Y'all keep subscribing. You keep commenting, and y'all making this channel grow. So I appreciate that. I really, really do. So let's get into it. So last week on Thursday, I spoke about the case involving Austin Metcalf as well as Carmelo Anthony down in Frisco, Texas. We talked about the young man, Austin Metcalf, losing his life, being unalived by Carmelo Anthony at a track meet. But we didn't know when we reported on Thursday, we really didn't know what kind of went on, what sparked everything, how did this case turn around and end up being a tragedy like this, like a misunderstanding. What happened? Well, we got some new details now about this, and it's interesting because there is a motive for self-defense. And I just want to hear you all to take a listen to this real quick, and then we're going to talk about it. Let's go.
A teenager accused of stabbing another student athlete at a track meet told officers as he was being taken into custody that he did it in self-defense.
Austin Metcalf was killed this week at that Frisco track meet. New documents detail what happened before and after 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony allegedly pulled a knife from his backpack and stabbed him. Fox 4's Alex Boyer joining us now live with the latest. Alex.
Hey guys, and in that 7-page arrest warrant affidavit, several witnesses, including Metcalf's twin brother, describe how that deadly encounter went down. The suspect then reportedly admitted to a Frisco police officer who detained him that he had stabbed Metcalf.
My son is gone, and I don't really have words. I've tried to figure out what I was going to say, but he's just going to be so missed.
The pain is still raw for the Metcalf family after 17-year-old Austin Metcalf was killed on Wednesday morning at a UIL District 11-5A track meet in Frisco.
That dude was extremely smart, always in the box. He just came to him real easy, and just him playing with football as well just made him just a great person overall.
Here's what happened according to witnesses and the police report. Metcalf got into an argument with the suspect, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, over a seating dispute in the bleachers. Metcalf told Anthony he needed to move from under the team's tent.
He always was one to step up and be the person that would do the right thing. And he was doing the right thing by saying to this gentleman that you're not supposed to be in this tent. This is because they have personal items there.
Anthony opened his bag and reached inside and said to Metcalf, "Touch me and see what happens." Metcalf reportedly grabbed Anthony and told him to move.
He knew.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there before we continue on. I just want to paint the picture real quick. So as this story, this is as of multiple accounts on what happened. It is alleged that Carmelo Anthony entered the tent that belonged to the school that these young men went to, Austin Metcalf. They were at a track meet, and he was under the tent. He was sitting there, and allegedly there was an altercation that involved some words being exchanged. And here we are. We have this situation where now it's, hey, you got to move. How about you make me move? And then something happens. Somebody gets grabbed, and then a knife comes out.
He wasn't supposed to be there. It's just a tragedy what happened.
That's when Anthony pulled out a black knife and stabbed Metcalf in the chest once before running away. When Anthony was taken into custody by a Frisco police officer, Anthony reportedly confessed to the crime, saying, "He put his hands on me. I told him not to," adding that, "I was protecting myself," and then asked the police officer, "Is he going to be okay?"
Is he going to be okay? No, young man, he is not. He has, unfortunately, succumbed to the injuries and lost his life. Now, when I heard this story the first time, like I said the other day, I knew it was going to be something. I knew conservative radio and talking heads were going to make this a big deal. I knew it was going to be a black-white thing. I knew all that was going to come out because that's what this country is so predicated on. That's what it's predicated on. But this to me is not a black-white thing. I don't think it's a race thing, but people are going to make it one. What I think this is ultimately is, this is what this is. This young man was bullied, and you know, the football player came over, you know, put a jack guy, probably said some things, you know, joking around. "Hey man, what you doing over here?" "Man, I'm chilling." "Man, you can't be over here. How about you make me move?" You know how this goes, and this ultimately went the wrong way. Now, it's alleged that he grabbed the young man, and if he did that, now this is the lesson where you don't put your hands on people. I mean, his mom said, hey, he was doing the right thing, but honestly, in this case, was he supposed to be there? Was he on the track team as well? It's so much underlining in this story, and what I didn't like is the narrative that this kid Carmelo was just some hoodlum and some thug that just came over there and decided to pick a fight with somebody and kill him, because that's not what happened. That's not what happened in this case. He was there. Was he supposed to be there? We don't know. Some people saying yes, some people no. We don't know, because you know what? Who's not saying something? The schools. We haven't gotten an actual report from the schools yet on actually what happened. We haven't at all. Not a report. We don't know because they're not telling us nothing. They're not saying nothing at all. And that's the problem in this case right now, because the young man, you know, he made a rational decision when he shouldn't have. Very, very, very bad decision. And he shouldn't have, because there was no reason to do this. Now, he may have felt threatened. Why you got a knife? I don't know. You know, you still got to answer for that, young man. You got a knife. Don't understand why you got a knife, you know. But then he told the cops, is he going to be okay? I was defending myself. And that's in the report too. And that's where this case kind of takes a turn. Because if this young man really thought that he was protecting himself, then the case for self-defense might even work in this case. I don't know. What I do know is a young man lost his life, and another young man made a split decision that may potentially ruin his. And we could take race out of it altogether and just look at this as a bad situation and the lessons learned. It's about respect and a right to people's space, because you just can't come up to people and just say, hey, man, you got to move. Now, that just ain't going to work in these days. Now, if this young man was in the right, you know, and I know some people, y'all going to come on my page and say, yo, he shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been there. I get all that. I get that. I'm not discounting that at all. I ran track and field. I know that the team set their tents up. But sometimes other people from other teams come over, especially if they got friends on the team. We don't know if he knew anybody from the school. He might have just came over to come holler at his homeboys and was sitting there waiting on one of his homeboys. We don't know. We still haven't not, like I said, we still not have gotten, I mean, that was all wrong. We still have not gotten an account from either school as to what actually happened. Everything we've gotten up to this point is hearsay. We just heard from the parents. They've been on the Will Kane show on Fox News. We knew that was coming. We got Clay Travis out here saying stuff. We got Matt Waltz saying stuff. We knew that these people were going to try to make it a race thing, and they do this with their little racial innuendos, and they try to make it seem like they're not doing this when they actually are. They are stoking flames, and they do this stuff because they know that this is the narrative that wants to get painted. And it's a shame that they keep doing this. Like, you want to stoke fear and flames and try to drum up a race war when there shouldn't be one. This is a bad situation. This is a situation that if cooler heads could have prevailed, that there was some adults around, perhaps maybe this situation does not happen. Perhaps Carmelo gets up, walks away, and does not stab Austin Metcalf, and everything is all well and good. If cooler heads could have prevailed, but they did not in this case. But we should not be trying to make it into something that is not. This is just a bad situation that happened, and we're gonna see if what the Justice Department decides when it's all said and done. I personally believe that this case is just a bad situation, and I don't think that this young man should lose his life behind it. Still got to answer for having a knife on campus. But I don't think the murder charge, I don't think he intentionally went there to murder this boy. I don't believe that. I think it's just a bad situation. Trump's tariffs have sent the stock market into a absolute frenzy. And those of you all who play on the stock market, you know that recessions tear your pockets up. And people start losing jobs. The price of goods and services goes up. The dollar is not really worth as much as it is anymore. And you losing money. Wages go stagnant. Excuse me. Wages go stagnant. Everything. And that is the problem when you do these things in the first 60 days. Now, Trump was adamant about these tariffs. They're 10% tariffs that went out. Now, some countries got, higher tariffs, and we know what he's doing. He's bringing the pressure on China and all these other countries with these high tariffs. They say that we're the only country in America, in the world, that was not doing tariffs. We were the only country. And Trump is adamant that we want to go back to the way that we did it in the 1800s with these tariffs, because that was the best way to get ingenuity and prosperity and the American dream. And that's what we decided for, right? That's what we decided. That's what y'all voted for. Y'all voted for these 10% tariffs to be going on around the world, crashing the stock market. That's what y'all voted for. Well, some conservatives are pushing back on this because, when you start to do something draconian, there's an election next year in 2026, and you don't want to lose the House a year after you got it and lose the Senate, because then we got split government for the next 2 years and we know nothing's getting done. So let's take a listen to how Trump's tariffs are affecting the stock market and why JP Morgan Chase is thinking that a recession is looming.
Reliance on tariffs to bring wealth into the United States and manufacturing jobs to the American people kicked in this morning, with 10% baseline levies on just about every import coming into the U.S. Far steeper tariffs on trading partners like China, Vietnam, India, and the European Union are set to begin next week. The market's reaction, clear and jarring. The S&P 500 plunging 10% in 2 days.
That is a lot. Plunging 10% in 2 days, that's a lot. but it's not as bad as people think it is. But I mean, it's still bad though.
Major banks like J.P. Morgan now forecasting a recession this year, even as the president today posted encouragement, saying this is an economic revolution.
I want y'all to read the full statement, all right? I don't believe in just giving out like a little piece of this. He said, China has been hit much harder than the U.S. Hey, not even close. They and many other nations have treated us unsustainably badly. We have been the dumb and helpless whipping post, but not any longer. We're bringing back jobs and businesses like never before. Already, more than $5 trillion of investment and rising fast. This is an economic revolution, and we will win. Hang tough. It won't be easy, but the end result will be historic. We will make America great. So that's the full statement from the president.
We begin tonight with senior business correspondent Christine Romans.
At ports across America tonight, a new reality for the more than $3 trillion worth of goods imported into the country each year. President Trump's baseline tariff of 10% for nearly all U.S. trading partners now in effect. Far higher tariffs, like 46% on Vietnam, 26% on India, and 20% on the European Union, are set to begin on Wednesday. The president's senior counselor for trade and manufacturing today insisting
we're going to have a bullish boom and the Dow's going to hit 50,000 during Trump's term.
But U.S. markets this week had a decidedly different interpretation. The Dow plunging nearly 4,000 points since President Trump's Rose Garden announcement Wednesday.
That's a lot of points. That is a lot of points. Jeez.
It's our declaration of economic independence.
The market sell-off triggered Thursday, deepening Friday, after China announced it would match the new U.S. tariffs on its goods with 34% tariffs of its own on imports from the U.S. Warning signs of a recession now flashing. J.P. Morgan forecasting a downturn in U.S. GDP for the year that will increase U.S. unemployment to 5.3%.
And that is a number that the Trump administration, you do not want unemployment to rise, because this is if the Democrats are smart, this is a talking point for next year. Ding, 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 ding. This is the talking point. I'm letting you know, the unemployment goes up, you're going to lose the midterms.
And Fed Chair Jerome Powell warning of rising prices to come.
Tariff increases will be significantly larger than expected. And the same is likely to be true of the economic effects, which will include higher inflation and slower growth.
President Trump today golfing in Florida, acknowledging the economic disruption his policies are causing, posting, "Hang tough. It won't be easy, but the end result will be historic." His administration now making big promises.
Wages are going to go up, profits are going to go up, and life's going to be beautiful here in America. Trust in Trump.
Yeah. You all can be bullish all you want to try to ease the markets, but right now the speculators are saying something different, and it's clear and obvious that these tariffs this is a repudiation of the Trump administration. And I don't know who's pulling the strings, because we know how Wall Street speculators are. If they start pulling out of the market, then the recession looms, and what happens in the recession? The cost of goods and services go up. People go to the unemployment line because companies start to lay off. This is bad. With all the layoffs that have already happened, you don't need more people being laid off in this economy. And then you could come out and say, hey, everything is good. Take a look. Look around. Everything is doing what it's supposed to be. You cannot face things like that, especially when the markets are tanking. The market is tanking right now. People are going to start pulling their money out. And you can't make money in a market if people start to pull out. And right now, nobody wants to be bullish. Nobody. They're looking for the safe bets. They're trying to figure out, okay, where should I put my money? Should I pull it out? Because this market is funny. Hey, it's a recession bad. We might need this cash. You already got the auto industry getting hit. You got Chevy and Ford and Dodge. They still got 2024 models that are still sitting in parking lots behind gates because they still haven't been sold yet. 2024 models, brand new trucks, just sitting in big fields because they can't even get rid of them. Some of them still got 2023s out there. This is a bad time for the auto industry. This is a bad time for retirement, Social Security. Things are not looking good right now. They are not. And if the Republicans, if y'all are not smart, you will lose the House and the Senate next year, because this economy is what y'all said you were going to fix. This is what y'all were supposed to have been fixing. You said y'all had the plan to fix this, and it was liberals and DE&I and all that stuff. We spending money on all that stuff. And look at what's happening. The market is absolutely tanking. Oh, and when it comes to that DE&I stuff, ask Target how it feels to see your market value getting wiped because your foot traffic is starting to decrease. You decide to turn your back, consumers say, okay, we're going to put pressure on. Before you know it, your door is going to be closing. Shareholders don't like losing money. And they don't like losing money. And they also don't need another pandemic starting up in this country, right? We can't have another pandemic. But right now, there is a measles outbreak. And a lot of people are not talking about this. And for the while, the United States thought measles, we thought we had beat measles. Like, we thought measles was in extinction, just like polio. It was gone. No more. Everybody's fully vaccinated for it, and it doesn't live here anymore. That we basically had beat it. Well, that's not the case. And while it's being swept under the rug, case after case after case after case is popping up. And, you know, it takes one case to take another. And before you know it, you got cases around the country of measles. And I don't know what's going on, but y'all unvaccinated people, you all are causing this. So let's take a listen.
Tonight, the country's deadly measles outbreak is getting worse, spreading at an alarming rate in Texas. 59 new cases have been reported there since Tuesday, leaving 14 people hospitalized.
We just don't know how bad it's going to get.
Megan Messick is the co-owner of Tiny Tots U Learning Academy in Lubbock. 6 children who attend the Texas daycare have tested positive for measles.
I've got parents that are upset because we're doing so much and then, isolating their children. And then you've got other parents that are like, do more.
It's something Lubbock County Public Health Director Catherine Wells feared.
I think this demonstrates how infectious measles is. It is our most infectious virus that we know about.
More than 600 cases have been reported across 21 states and the capital so far. Health experts say it's a shocking comeback for a disease declared eliminated in this country 25 years ago.
So where did it come from? It was eliminated 25 years ago. Where did this come from?
Because of the vaccine.
Measles is going to find those unvaccinated populations. Getting the vaccine now before you're exposed to measles is really the best way we can prevent you from getting measles.
In Texas, the majority of cases and hospitalizations are occurring in unvaccinated kids. One unvaccinated school-age child has died.
Died from measles. Shame. Parents, don't do your kids like this.
It's not something that I was expecting to be working on this year as a public health department.
Alarming numbers signaling a desperate need to slow the spread. Maya Eaglin, NBC News.
Thanks.
I don't even know where to start with this one. All I can say is there is science. And there is conspiracy. And somewhere in between science versus conspiracy is the truth. I know a lot of people that don't want to vaccinate, that don't believe in vaccinations. I know a lot. I know people who are unvaxxed that don't believe in it. Totally up to them. But when kids start dying from infectious diseases that we had ruled out and thought were gone, and now they're back, and these cases are starting to spread, it makes you really, really think about, okay, how did this come about? Measles was supposed to be gone. Is somebody playing around in a laboratory? Like, where did measles come from? Like, how did this just magically show right back up again? Like, it was supposed to be gone 25 years ago. Now we got a whole batch of people who are unvaccinated kids, and the parents don't want to vax because they don't believe in it. And now I would say your kids are getting sick, and diseases that were not supposed to be here no more are now starting to show back up. I don't understand. But then again, I take a stand. Because I do understand. I do. It's people believe what they want to believe, and you're not going to tell them, you're not going to impose upon them their freedoms. People believe that, yeah, they look at themselves as free willist. You know, they got free will. They are not going to be governed by the things that you say. They're not going to be governed by the things that you feel. And if you infringe upon their rights, they're going to say that you are, you know, anti-American and anti-freedom, anti-whatever, right? That's what they're going to say. But in the grand scheme of things, we're also looking at it from the fact that this is a medical situation. And here we are. Not, how do we get to this point? And when health experts are telling you to get vaccinated and then you say you're not. When health experts gave you a shot for COVID and we're not trustworthy with it. This is the problem between medical, science and medicine. And, science, medicine, and conspiracies. This is the problem. Because the medical people like Dr. Fauci have made it so people don't trust the federal government when it comes to medicine, don't trust the CDC when it comes to vaccine guidance, don't trust the leading health experts in the country when it comes to infectious diseases, don't trust pharmaceutical companies because we know that they out here paying for profit, don't trust at all. And you know why they don't trust? It all goes back to those people that are sitting in Washington, D.C., who happen to make up both branches of the House and the Senate, sending things to the executive. That's what it all boils down to. They have created this fear and this miseducation of Americans, and now we have a pandemic, a measles outbreak that has happened across the country. And he's going to keep spreading. Same thing like COVID, right? Started out a couple of cases. People said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Next thing you know, millions of people died. You had a young kid die from this. I wonder how that family feels right now. Who they blaming? Are they blaming themselves? Is it tearing their family up? I wonder. Things like this tear families up. One person may not have felt really too pressed, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm not really up on that non-vaccinating stuff. But it went along with the other one. Because one of the parents was strong in on it. And now your kid is gone. Your kid is gone. And ain't nothing you can do to replace that. So we're going to keep reporting on this outbreak as the cases grow up. I just want to make sure that you're very, very aware of these cases. A lot of them are in Texas. Some of them are on the East Coast, starting to make its way around the border states. Seeing like people coming in from out of the country, maybe these states that have these a lot of international flights. That's what it looks like is targeting right now. Don't know where it originated from. Don't know how it got here. But measles is in the United States, and for a disease that and a sickness that was supposed to be eradicated 25 years ago, this should be alarming to everybody. So that's my time for the night. I thank you all for tuning in. Yeah, we're gonna keep doing this, man. We're gonna keep rocking. We're gonna keep getting it on. We're gonna keep doing this. I just wish that you all keep rocking with me.